we go. Hello, everyone. I'm Tessa Goodnight, and I'm the technical producer for the Use Your Power show. I'm a white woman with long brown hair. Today, I'm wearing a gold collared shirt. I'm sitting in my living room on my red couch. There's a drawing of some running horses in the background. I'm here to speak with you because a lot's been going on since our last episode of Use Your Power. So I'm here with Bob Kafka from Rev Up Texas, and we wanted to update you on the show and also on what's going on in the Texas legislature. So as you know, there have been some really dangerous anti-voter bills circulating this session, and Democrats actually walked out during the final vote on SB 7, which was that big voting bill that we wanted you to watch out for. And State Representative Jessica Gonzalez said that she and other Democrats walked out because they felt that it would give Congress more time to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the For the People Act. And both of those would prevent restrictive voting laws. But now Governor Abbott has called a special session, which is going to start July 8th. We're filming this, but it probably is already started when you're going to be able to see this. And he intends to continue working on voting laws during that special session. So that's why we have Bob here, and he's going to help us understand what a special session is and what that is going to mean for Texas.
Welcome. I'm Bob Kafka. I'm a white male with a white beard and white hair. I'm wearing my Register to Vote black t-shirt. The background is a picture of the Capitol with activists from ADAPT doing some activism at the Capitol. I'm wearing my Rev Up Texas hat, and I'm here to try to explain some of what's been going on around voting. I'm not going to talk very technical. This is going to be just a broad overview of what a special session is. Senate Bill 7, the bill that all the groups in Texas that were for voter participation died at the end of the session. As was told, the Democrats walked out and there wasn't a quorum, so there could be no vote. And so what they call sine die, the bill died and the session ended. Though you may not think so, the governor of Texas actually is a weak governor, but one of the most important powers he does have is the ability to call a special session. Not only is he the only person that can call the special session, he also is the only person to say what the topics will be. So he can call a special session anytime. He is not limited in the number of topics, but once he calls the topic and they say, on the call, we anticipate that this special session, which is going to begin Thursday, July the 8th, you may be seeing this, the special session may be going on. He will detail what will be on the call. And we know for sure that voting will be one of the main topics that will be done for the special session. The other thing about special sessions you should know is that the limit of how long the special session is 30 days. But he doesn't have to call it for 30 days. He could call it for a week. He could call it for 2 weeks. That is totally within his power when he calls the special session. But it can go no longer than 30 days. The other thing he can do is that there's no limit on the number of special sessions he calls. So let's say he calls the July 8th, and when the 30 days end, the bills that have been introduced don't pass. He can immediately call another special session to begin right after the first special session ended. So, and there is no limit on the number of special sessions that he calls. The other thing that he has in his power is that during the special session, if he wants to add another topic in the middle of the special session, he can do that also. So you can see that he has quite a bit of power. The other thing that should know about the special session is that the bill that died at the end of the regular session is dead. A new bill has to be filed, and it doesn't need to be just one bill. Senate Bill 7 was a consolidated bill of all the, we think, bad things about voter suppression. But again, they could reintroduce the same bill. They could reintroduce a totally different bill with better or potentially worse things in terms of voter participation. They could file multiple bills that take up the same issues, but it won't be one target. Some people think that could be a potential strategy because from an advocacy standpoint, it is easy to get people fired up on one bill than it would be if there were 5. But we don't know how that will be. When you're listening to this, it may be much clearer, but at this recording, we don't know. So the bill has to be introduced. It has to be referred to a committee. And it's most likely that it will be introduced both in the House of Representatives and the Senate. They could introduce it in just one of those bodies, but collective wisdom says that they'll probably introduce 2 bills. Once it is introduced and referred to a committee, and in the Senate, it has traditionally been state affairs in the Senate, and in the House, it has been usually the Elections Committee. There's been some discussion that they may refer it to another committee other than the Elections Committee. They also have a State Affairs Committee in the House. Or they could create a separate committee totally just to do voting. All that is in the power of the legislature when they're in session July the 8th. Depending on which committee, they do have to have public hearings. And that is going to be another opportunity for the public to give their input. Right now, we don't know what the public input rules will be, whether it has to be in person, how much Zoom type testimony they will take. Obviously, they do have to take written testimony there. So stay tuned for alerts, especially because we will then have some more specifics on some of the things that we believe would suppress the participation of people with disabilities, people of color, and other low-income Texans. From an advocacy strategy, what we're doing now, and I hope that you have contacted your state senator and individual representative, is that 26 state and local disability Texas organizations came together for a joint statement on voter participation for people with disabilities. We have asked people, and if you haven't done it yet, we ask you to do it, to actually contact just 3 people: your state senator, your state representative, and also to give the governor your opinion. We have found from an advocacy standpoint, it is powerful when you contact the person who represents you, because over and over again, we have heard from legislators, both Democrat and Republican, that they will react much more aggressively to their local constituencies than they will if they just get bombarded by statewide type approaches. So stay tuned for specific information on specific topics that are there. Also, we urge you to not only do it yourself, but what the power of the disability vote is our network. So if you are a person with a disability, contact everyone in your community that you know that has a disability. If you're a family member of a person with a disability or somebody that cares about disability issues, please network, because there's going to be the traditional lobby at Austin. And we know that y'all can travel to Austin at the drop of a hat. There'll be rallies, there'll be things where people will be asked to come for advocacy days. We totally understand the limitations of people like in El Paso, Amarillo, Cut and Shoot, down in the Valley, East Texas, how, that would be difficult. But that is why where your power is to send that joint statement to your state senator and your state rep, and send it to the governor and say, do not limit the voter participation of people with disabilities. The other thing we ask is to join with other groups in your community who also have a similar concern about the act of voter suppression. So it is just really important that we take action, that we show that the disability vote is concerned about voter suppression, and let's join with all the other groups. And our name is our sort of chant: register, educate, vote. And the name of this podcast is Use Your Power. And the only way that using your power actually is implemented is by you using your power, picking up the phone, email, social media, especially old folks like me who don't know much about social media. I urge the younger listeners to use Instagram, Twitter, names of options I don't even know, but do something and really take action. Thank you, and I hope that the next time you hear, we will have a more positive, victorious podcast. Thank you very much, and rev up.
Yes, definitely use that social media. Our social media is a great resource. You'll find that joint statement that Bob was talking about on our Instagram and on our Facebook. You'll find ways to contact your representative, ways to share your opinion with the governor. And of course, we're going to be working with organizations like the League of Women Voters in the future and their Take Action Center that they have to get in contact with those representatives. Okay, bye. Bye, everyone.
Rev up.